What's up, guys? It's Kictor, who's ready to scum. I didn't say it. I'm just repeating what Kate said. Yes, I just posted a new video addressing the controversy of the TGCF Blu-ray, which is nuts. So definitely be sure to watch that video afterwards. The Blu-ray does not have Mandarin on it. It's in English and Japanese, which is just nuts. So I basically unboxed the Blu-ray. It comes with some art prints and some promo videos, and it's just like the trailers we've all seen before. And it has the new Japanese intro and outro, which is just like a fan edit of some clips from the show to new music. And the music is really great, but of course I can't show the music in the video because of copyright. But yeah, it's pretty just so odd. Like, it's just so weird. Why it wouldn't have the original audio. I'm sure it's all tied up with money and politics, but anyways. Yes. Whoa, backwards cap Kictor is here. Indeed. Indeed. Yeah, I thought we were green. Scum color, you know. Did you see the audio drama trailer? I did. I have a video talking about that coming out soon as well. Because I read the whole chapter of like the revised part. Everyone talks about the horse part. No one talks about the whole thing that happens after the horse part. There's a whole part where Hua Chung has amnesia and they're in like a dream world and he's like 16-ish and Shailian thinks he's so adorable and is just trying, like, withholding the, he's trying not to kiss him like every 2 seconds. He wants to kiss him on the cheek and kiss him on the forehead because he's being so cute. It's really good. I'm gonna make a video about that soon, tomorrow probably. Neko me, thank you so much for the donation. It's March. That means my pre-orders of TGCF Hardcover 3 and Special Edition Fish Book 4 are coming this month. Yes, that's so exciting. And a little special tidbit. The Fish Book is available on Kindle right now. So if you want to know what happens at the ending of the Fish Book, order it on Kindle. But there is a special edition. Right, so we're very excited to get that. We get cool kid Kictor tonight. Okay. Kate, I hope your wrist is not bothering you too much. And oh, Shayla was #1 today. Hello, Shayla and Quinn and Dionysus and Riley and Not Ruth. Lots of new people today, I think. Oh, Hushwan's only wife says all of Scum came in the mail yesterday. That's so exciting! And Spark Major says still wrapping up at work, so I'll be lurking for a minute. I just want to finish this canvas before I scurry home. Oh, how exciting. Oh, and Kenzie is on the way home from Seattle. Very nice. And Kenzie says, hi, on my way home from Seattle, my coworker is going to ECCC this weekend, and it's making me so hyped for Sakura. Oh, yeah, I know. I will kind of wanted to go to ECCC, but it's been so many things at once. There's only so many flus I can get from conventions. Hey, Lizzie, you're going on a ski trip. I am also going on a ski trip this weekend. I'm very excited. Guy the Pirate Witch has been a member for 5 months. Thank you so much, Guy. And says, I haven't been here long, but 5 months is a long time still. That is an incredibly long time. That is such a long time to support someone online. So I really, really, really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Mary B has been a member for 4 months and says, hi, I can't believe it's been 4 months already. Me neither. Thank you so much. I'm just so beyond grateful for anybody who decides to be a member, or if they were gifted a membership, continue on their membership. It just means the world to me. So thank you so much. Meridia says, when they wake up, Shailian is giggling and Hwa-Chang is pleased but also embarrassed. It's so adorable. Right? That moment was so fucking cute. Shailian literally bursts out laughing. He can't hold it back. And Hwa-Chang says, don't laugh. And he's like, okay, I'm not. And then he's like, you were just so adorable. And then there's even kind of like a little sad moment where Shailian's like, it's like you were 16. And Hwa-Chang's like, I was not like that when I was 16. And then Shailian's like, what were you like when you were 16? And he has this moment where he's like, Hwa-Chang seems like the type of person that was always like an adult. Like he was always omniscient and knew everything. But at some time, he was little boy, baby boy. And I don't think Shailian knows at that point that he actually would have met Hwa-Chang when he was that age, you know? So, oh, MXTX. Also, I'm wearing a bit of throwback jewelry today. My friends and I are having a throwback anime sleepover where we're all cosplaying like older anime series, and Stitch and I are gonna do L and Light. So we ordered a Death Note on Amazon, and it came with an insane amount of merch. It came with these 2 necklaces and a bookmark, and it was like, it's like a full-on Death Note that has all the fucking rules in it. There's like 40 pages of rules. And we're rewatching Death Note as well, so. Emma, thank you so much for gifting a membership, Emma. I really appreciate that. Thank you so much, Emma. I hope you're having a good day. Hope you and all your dogs are doing good. Dree, thank you so much for your donation. That's so nice of you. Thank you so much. Hi, Kictor. I hope you and Stitch are feeling better. You know, I'm feeling better, but Stitch really isn't. Stitch is still fucking going through it, man. It's really rough. You'll probably hear her coughing in the background. It really sucks. It really sucks seeing her all curled up in bed when she should be crafting while she can. Because we're moving pretty quick here, and we're gonna be in a even more awkward half and half scenario with the people that we're moving into's house haven't moved out fully yet. So streaming is gonna be nuts the first week of April. But yeah, I hope Stitch gets better soon. And Dree says, tomorrow is my 25th birthday, so this is an amazing early birthday gift, and my favorite Scum villain fic updated yesterday too. Oh my god, that's a fantastic gift when you're the fic you've been waiting for to updates. Oh my gosh, that's incredible. Well, happy birthday tomorrow. That's so exciting. I hope you have an incredible day. 25, what a great year. I remember thinking when I turned 25, I was like, I am going to be in peak physical health. Like 25 is the year I will get abs. 25 is the year that I'm going to be so jacked, because that's like you'll be the optimum life form at 25. And then COVID happened. That did not happen. But I do think I'm in peak physical form now. Just took a couple years. Kate says, my wrist is on fire, but Wei Wuxian needs to scum. Oh, fuck. That's so funny. Kate, shut up. Rose City Kimono says, I am almost done with Fish. Yeah, for Binghe reading. Yeah! Oh, that's exciting. Almost being done with Fish. I'm very excited to read today. I have been craving reading Scum Villain. It's crazy. I never thought I'd say those words. Susan has been a member for 9 months. Oh my goodness, a baby. Thank you so much, Susan. So happy we're streaming on my birthday. Oh my god, happy birthday, Susan. That's fantastic. I hope you have an incredible day. Thanks for all the videos and hard work you do. Oh, I appreciate that so much. I really love doing it. It's been a while since I've made a couple more like YouTube-y type of YouTube videos because we've been doing a lot of the book club stuff. But we filmed a couple more YouTube-y videos, including the one I just uploaded. So I'm excited because I like editing. I like editing shorter stuff and like actually kind of being a little bit creative, you know? So I really appreciate that. Thank you so much. And Master Ash has been a member for... not just a member, a supreme member. Oh my god, thank you so much for 23 months. That is crazy. Thank you so much, Master Ash. Hello, Scum time, and almost a year of Kickter. Almost 2 years. I also sent you some new Arha redraw art on Insta. Oh, I would love to see that. Let's see. The last ones you sent were incredible. Oh, bro, I fucking love this art. This was one of the first pictures that I saw this and I was like, I love Chuanning. I made a tweet that went relatively viral, I think, where I'm like, Chuanning's Tony Stark because he's building like the fucking Iron Man suit. Dude, I might make this like my wallpaper if I've got your permission. I love that so much. Oh, the coloring you did to that looks so good. Oh my god, he's so fucking cool making the automaton shit. And then you got Moran in the back too. That is awesome, Ash. That's so sick. Dude, thank you so much for sharing that. That was awesome. Tina says, I bought the Kindle edition of the fish book, but the special one is on order. That's what we did too. Because we're going away to the ski trip this weekend and Stitch can't ski. So she's going to sit in the chalet and read fish book. And then when the special edition comes, we'll unbox it and look at all the pictures and stuff. Oh yeah, Legend of Exorcism also comes out. Legend of Exorcism is on, I don't know if it still is, but it was on Netflix for a while. Oh, Thousand Autumn's German translation? Canvas stretched and fumes inhaled, says Spark Major. I'm going home. Oh my gosh. Miss Rosie, thank you so much for gifting a membership. How have you been doing, Miss Rosie? I hope that your read-throughs have been going good as well. And thank you so much for gifting a membership. I really appreciate that. Emma says, I'm doing good. I just finished binging a new anime, Zeshu, and now I'm sad because I have to wait. Also, the episode was sad. Oh, that's awful. I have heard of that. I can't picture it at all right now, but it's exciting to have something to look forward to. Right now, the animes we are watching that are like updating is Apothecary Diaries and Solo Leveling. Those update every Friday. Dear Z, thank you so much for your donation. Sent an image of the wallet I ordered on Insta. Can show it to the chat if you want. I'm excited and I can't wait for it. Ooh, let's see. I want to see this wallet. Oh, cool! That's awesome! Little Hua Chung themed wallet. That's sick. Oh, sorry, my brightness. Whoop. That's super cool. Cool, like, big wallets with designs on them, they always tempt me, but I am such, like, minimalist. Like, I am the, carabiner lesbian keys person. Like, I rarely go out with a purse or a bag or anything. So my wallet is, like, the tiniest little, like, card-carrying wallet. I do have like a little, I actually had a tiny little like Yoshi little tab on my wallet, but even that I was like, oh, it's too bulky. But that's really cool. I think that looks awesome. Oh, Meridia says, who is going to be L and who is going to be Light? Oh, you guys should guess. Who do you think Stitch is going to be? Who do you think I'm going to be? Kenzie said that you would go as a Yu-Gi-Oh character to the sleepover. That's precisely the vibe. Exactly. That's a good idea. I wonder if anybody will. Horror Girl says, I got you and Stitch something for my college Comic-Con. I will try and send that out soon. Oh, thank you. That's so nice that you thought of us. That's so cool your college had a Comic-Con. That's sick. Oh, the chat just refreshed. I saw someone said something about Robert Downey Jr. Oh, Joanning is so Robert Downey Jr. coded. Oh my god. My previous fixations from when I was a teen are colliding with my current ones. Lizzie says, I'm so tired, man, but I'm doing well and I get to fuck around in Jasper, so you know, I'll take it. That's awesome. So sick. Just paranoid I'm going to miss my alarms. Oh my gosh. I'm sure you'll be so excited you'll wake up no problem. Quinn says, are you going to be reading more books to us when you're finished? Yeah, I have been enjoying doing the read-through so much that I definitely want to read more. And I have just been reading more overall, too, because I finished reading Case File recently, too. So, I finally finished reading it. That ending was certainly something. Finished reading book 4. I'm only caught up to the English editions. Cat's Cow says, I wrote some spicy fish book fanfic last week. It was to imagine what happened when Liu was in the mermaid form. Oh, you know, Prince Jing was all over that fish ushi. You know he was into that. Oh my god. Master Ash, thank you for your another donation. You definitely have my permission. Thank you. Working on some thumbnails for a Ranwan Wait For Me animatic based on book 3. Oh my god. That's awesome. I definitely want to see that. Please send that to me when you're done that. Red Raven, thank you for your donation. Have my lemon tea and hot soup. I'm ready to scum. Oh, fuck. I should have made a tea. I might go make a tea before we begin reading. Oh my god, one of the teas that we got from the February box of Sakura-ko, because I'm sponsored by Tokyo Treat and Sakura-ko, so we get the monthly boxes, and one was a caramel matcha tea, and it was so good, and Stitch doesn't like matcha, so I got to have both of them, and it was so good. I've never had like a flavored matcha, I guess, and it was really good. And Miss Rosie, oh my goodness, thank you for your donation, Miss Rosie. Hello, thank you for asking about the streams. They've been going really well, other than 1 or 2 Wi-Fi issues that I think I figured out. Oh, that's fantastic. Isn't that the worst when Wi-Fi fucking doesn't work? I finally got Ethernet, so I'm all plugged in now. And I've been having way less issues. But when we move into our new house in the in-between period, I'm like, oh my god, I just fucking pray that everything will be smooth. We will be finishing the first LM in the next 2 streams. That is amazing. Oh my god, the first Little Mushroom book will be completely read out loud and accessible. That is fantastic. I appreciate you doing that work for everybody. Thank you so much, Miss Rosie. Meridia says, I think Stitch can pull off the crazy psychopath, and you could definitely suit the insomniac genius. Oh my god. I'm trying to picture Stitch as Light just makes me laugh so hard. Oh my god. Stitch is probably going to be L and you're going to be Light. Stitch is definitely L. Oh my god. Stitch is L for sure. You are Light for sure. Stitch is L. Oh my god. That's so funny. Stitch's cheekbones scream L. Kate says Kictor is L. Duh. That's so funny. I loved L so much. When I first watched Death Note, I think I was one of the only people in the world I shipped, because I thought gay shipping was a sin back then. I shipped L with Misa. I can hear Stitch laughing in the kitchen. And I think I read the only 2 LX Misa fics that were on fanfiction.net. But Stitch is gonna be L, and I'm gonna be Light. Magi says L and Misa is still cute though. Thank you. I saw something there. Annika says, oh my god, you've come so far, right? We also bought handcuffs. I just think we're gonna walk into the sleepover with the handcuffs on as Ellen Light. It's gonna be so fucking funny. Pack says, do you like to read? Yes, I love to read, actually. Not the handcuffs. Oh, Kohaku says, I love matcha. My favorite Starbucks drink is the matcha latte. And you can get the matcha latte mix at the store if you look at the tea section. Oh, no way! When I was in high school, I loved getting the Starbucks matcha lattes. It was like, it's just so creamy. Lizzie says, you aren't gay enough to pull off L. What does that mean? I told you I use a carabiner. Lizzie says, I sent you Xiao's birthday art that I did in because it's very different from my usual style. Oh, let's see. Oh, that's so cool. That's sick. Oh my god, that is beautiful, Lizzie. I feel like it's kind of given the vibe of like a painting too. That is super cool. You guys are all such nice friends. Getting art for your birthday. That's so awesome. And I like your whip as well. That's sick. I love seeing so many people drawing too. It's just awesome. Inspires me. Kate says, ship Light with the Shinigami, you coward. He has a name. And I didn't know this either. Stitch told me that apparently Ryuk was supposed to be this super fucking hot Twinkie emo boy. And then they were like, no, readers will like him too much. We have to make him ugly. So, if he was the super hot Twinkie emo boy, I definitely would have been shipping him with Light. I am excited to, we're rewatching it, so I'm excited to rewatch it with like Fujo goggles and like see if I will be shipping Light and L after all this time. How did you, oh Stitch, how did you get unchained from the bed? Oh, did you put milk in here?
And sugar.
Oh my goodness gracious. Thank you so much, Beck. I love you. Thank you.
Hot.
Thank you. What kind of tea is it?
It's the apple one.
Ooh, thank you. Everyone's dying over the handcuffs, babe. Oh my gosh. Everyone says, feel better soon, we love you. Death Note, but replace Ryuk with Grim. Oh my god. Oh my god. I gotta think about that. Ryuk is actually quite cute. He does have quite a few very cute moments. Like, we just watched episode 3, and he has this, like, whole thing where he's like, you know, I don't actually have to help you, and I shouldn't even be helping you at all, but as your roommate, I think I should tell you that there's someone following you. Wei Wuxian's wig says, I feel like I just walked into something inappropriate. Nothing inappropriate! Quinn says Rook is hot. You know, some angles I see, and I'm like, he could get it. Kate! Kate, oh my god, look at this art Kate just shared! Oh my god! Oh my god. Kate is suffering from carpal tunnel, everybody. Wish her well. Make sure she gets better as soon as possible. Because, oh my god, Kate's art is fucking god tier. Oh my god. Is this for a commission? That's crazy. Oh, Cats, did you commission that? Oh my god, that's incredible. Oh, literally your message. I sent you the comm I did for Cats. Yeah. That is fucking incredible. Oh my god. Oh. Okay. Shall we? Scum? Shall we skate? Oh, I missed a donation from Ellery. Hello, my Hushwan bro. What's up, bro? Things have been getting more normal with my grandfather's health this week. That's fantastic. So I actually had time to work on my Hushwan fix again today. That's great. That is awesome news. Oh, I'm so glad. That is fantastic to hear. And I'd love to hear anything you have to say about your Hushwan fix. I appreciate another Hushwan lover. Another Hushwan's lover opinion on anything I can trust. Okay. Oh, Spark Major, thank you so much for being a Supreme for 10 months and just such an incredible support to my channel. You really mean a lot to me, so thank you so much, Spark Major. Or Sugar Major, as you were being called last stream. 10 months, yay! Reminder, no spoilers. Yes, this is my first time reading Scum Villain. So, but I love it when people get excited for things. But yes, I do not know what's coming. Okay. What happened last chapter? I don't remember. Let's try and find out. Does anybody want to write a little synopsis of what the previous chapter had? Oh, right. He saved Lo Mingyan from Xia Hualing, and then they went to like a tavern and overheard that guy talking about how he thought Lo Binghe tried to come on to Shenqing Chou, and then that's why things are awkwarder between them, is because Lo Binghe wanted to fuck him. Binghe's fucking crazy and Shenqing Chou is alive. Yes. And there was a return of the system, kind of. Yes. Yes. Exactly. Oh, Leo has been a member for 5 months. And says, I sent you a whip on Insta. Ooh, just in time. Let's see. Oh, is it this beef leaf? That's so cute. Oh my god, that's so cute. That is adorable. I love those outfits of theirs. I have that cosplay of Mingyi's. That is awesome. Oh my god. I love that. Thank you so much for sharing it. Oh, that's not yours. Oh my, well, someone else just sent me that. What's your, what is your Instagram? Because that's my most recent request. And I don't see it. Lo Mingyan became a Fujoshi. Yes. Yes, it's like me. She was like me. Like, I didn't ship Ellen Light because I didn't know, like, you could ship boys. Until you hear a story where someone is shipping boys and you're like, Meridia says, that reminds me, I wasn't there for the stream on Monday, but I watched a bit of the recording. Did anyone color your beef leaf art? It's so cute. Thank you. I haven't been sent any finished ones. I saw Kenzie did color, or was starting to color it. but I haven't seen anyone else color it. Demon Girl also kidnapped... Oh, Yuan to become the cauldron for Binghe. Yes, Binghe has to, like, expel his energy into, like, humans every now and then. Lottie says me and Lizzie are doing it together. Oh, I'm very excited for that. Cat's Cow says, I'm going to print the line art and do watercolor. No way! That is so cool. I'm very excited to see that. Okay, Leo, unfortunately I don't see your drawing request, but if you send it again, maybe we can look at it later. Expel his energy? Is that what the kids are calling it these days? Okay. After escorting the two juniors out of the borderlands, Shenjing Cho picked a direction opposite to theirs. He'd been walking until the moon was high in the sky when his terrifically keen hearing caught the indistinct peal of demonic bells. You're exactly like a ghost that won't move on, Shenjing Cho said without even turning his head. With her presence discovered, Xia Hualing didn't intend to keep hiding, and she confidently strolled into view, coiling red, gauzy cloth around her fingers as she laughed. Who taught this distinguished gentleman to make Ling Er so curious? You took such attentive care of those two. What sort of relationship does your distinguished self have with Sangchong Mountain? Shenjing Cho turned around and wagged his finger. I won't fight you, and you shouldn't try anything with me either. That's kinda gay. Xia Hualing couldn't do anything to him with her current ability. He was just thinking about scaring her a little, when out of nowhere, his entire body jolted. It felt like a millipede was crawling through his internal organs. A familiar and frightening sensation began to unfurl from the pit of his stomach. Xia Hualing's smile was sinister. I'm indeed no match for you, but did you think that means I have no way to control you? Ooh. For a moment, Shenjing Cho's legs went soft, but he still managed to stand firmly. He clenched his teeth. When did you make me eat it? How was the food and drink in town today? Xia Hualing asked coquettishly. Was the waitress pretty? It's fortunate you ate it all. If you were more devoted in your cultivation, avoiding food and practicing inedia, you would have really given Ling Er a headache. Fuck! In the moment, his entire attention had been comprehensively captured by the Gossip Brigade captain's beautiful and heartfelt performance. Gossip kills! Ah! Oh my god, he was too busy listening in on the gay story to realize he was eating poison. Do you know what's currently inside your body? She asked as she circled Shenjing Cho, overflowing with glee. This is no ordinary poison. Shut up! I'm more familiar than you. I've already eaten heavenly demon blood twice! Twice! Normally you eat it once and die once. Who's hit the jackpot as many times as me? No one was capable of controlling heavenly demon blood other than said blood's owner. As the blood mites were already starting to stir inside Shenjing Cho's body, that could only mean one thing. Xia Hualing bowed to someone behind Shenjing Cho. This subordinate did not fail your trust. I have already captured him. Oh shit. Oh shit. Crimson Queen, thank you so much for gifting a membership. Thank you so much. I hope that you're doing good. I hope your eyes are good. A rift that looked like a dark lightning had split the air and was now slowly sealing back up, and behind him stood a tall and slender silhouette. As Shenjing Cho turned, he met that stare head on. Lo Binghe was looking down on him from above. Though he had no expression under those eyes like twin cold pools, Shenjing Cho could forget another layer of whiskers. Even a more advanced disguise would have seemed to vanish into nothing. Shenjing Cho fixed his gaze on him. Yeah, he has this stupid beard through all of this. While indeed cold, the Lo Binghe of the past had been the reflection of warm sunlight on fresh snow. Even in Jinlan City and the water prison, he had more or less possessed some traces of humanity, some faint expressions, and would lose control and grow angry. But this young man's countenance looked like a landscape of snowy wastes and glaciers that had been frozen for 1,000 years. The sight of him chilled one to the bone. Despite this, Shen Qingqiu's current state of mind was quite different from what he'd expected. It was difficult to explain. All sorts of emotions were tangled up in his head, but the single emotion that should have been most prominent was missing. Fear. Maybe it was because he'd failed to avoid Lo Binghe despite all his exhaustive planning, with a series of freak accidents sending him back to square one. Either way, he found himself calm and felt that none of this really mattered. For a split second, Lo Binghe's expression was puzzled, causing his face to appear to soften just a little, but soon the sliver of softness dissipated without a trace. His pupils contracted, and a red mark flickered at the center of his forehead in a burst of light. Lo Binghe's sleeves hadn't even fluttered when Xia Hualing was abruptly hoisted into the air, as if by an incorporeal hand squeezing her throat. She coughed painfully. At the same time, that drop of heavenly demon blood in Shen Qingqiu's internal organs split into 1,000 of frenzied threads, boring through his insides. Cold sweat soaked his back. Oh my god. You certainly have some guts, Lo Binghe said breezily. Though his tone was light, anyone could have felt the violent rage concealed beneath the surface. You have some guts? Was he saying that to Shen Qingqiu or Xia Hualing? Shen Qingqiu's brain shifted into high gear. Lo Binghe shouldn't have been able to recognize him, even though this current face did somewhat resemble Shen Qingqiu's. With Lo Binghe's observation skills and ability to notice details, he could effortlessly pick out the minute differences, even though through a layer of whiskers. But it looked like Lo Binghe had taken him for someone with a similar face. Thank you for your donation, CS Ziel. Hold everything. Shen Qingqiu needs to remind us how beautiful Lo Binghe is. Yeah. Kino says, I wonder if Binghe likes his beard. Oh, brother. Oh, Stitch, that tea is fucking amazing. She made it with love. Though that did fuck all for him, being recognized would indeed have been a disaster. But it turned out that not being recognized wasn't much better. Xia Hualing didn't know why Lo Binghe had become so furious, and she struggled while frantically scanning the area through tear-blurred eyes, trying to figure out exactly what had brought on this punishment. When her gaze swept over Shen Qingqiu's face, she suddenly looked like she had seen a ghost. My lord, forgive me. The subordinate knows her mistake, but the subordinate swears that it was a complete coincidence, she said in a terrified voice. My lord, forgive me. I honestly didn't do it this time. Inside, Xia Hualing was bitterly grousing non-stop. You see, she had a rap sheet. Ever since joining Lo Binghe's forces, she had watched Lo Binghe spend all of his time gazing at Shen Qingqiu's corpse, and managed to more or less guess a couple of unspeakable things. What? Staring at Shen Qingqiu's what now? Thinking herself clever, she'd found a person whose face was about similar to Shen Qingqiu's by about 5 parts of 10. Then asked a capable demon to perform some minor modifications to make the fake perfectly match the original. One could have called it a work of otherworldly quality. Afterward, she sent the counterfeit to Lo Binghe, and the result? Not only had it failed to make Lo Binghe happy, it had sent him into a terrible rage instead. He'd nearly wiped out the entirety of the Qiyun cave in a horrible massacre. Oh. Xia Hualing would never forget that, nor did she wish to see that expression of Lo Binghe's again. From then on, she was careful, not daring to touch anything even slightly related to the subject. Who could have known that the vessel she had settled on this time would also coincidentally share some of the similarities with that fucking Shen Qingqiu's eyes and brows? This was definitely another violation of Lo Binghe's major taboo. I seem to have previously warned you not to try anything with this face, Lo Binghe said. Strung up in midair, Xia Hualing's face was flushed red from asphyxiation. After a stream of choking noises, she said, pained, This time, this subordinate truly didn't do it on purpose. Though Shen Qingqiu didn't know the ins and outs of the situation here, he'd pretty much guessed that it was related to this face of his. He shut his mouth, fretting inside. He'd already been dead for 5 years, and just looking at someone with a similar appearance still made Lo Binghe profoundly angry. It looked like he'd really left some severe scars on Lo Binghe's psyche. Suddenly, a sharp pain assaulted Shen Qingqiu's abdomen, like tens of thousands of steel needles were piercing through his organs. This time, no level of bountiful spiritual energy would help him. His vision darkened and he coughed up a mouthful of blood, red with a hint of black. The air pressure around Lo Binghe had dropped to extreme lows, and his gaze was that of a person looking at something dead. At his waist, Shin Mo trembled in excitement while humming unceasingly, as if about to exit its sheath. His hand pressed down on the hilt, and an all-consuming red welled from the depths of his eyes. Shen Qingqiu wiped at the blood by his mouth, a little stupefied by the sight. Logically speaking, after starting the Demon Realm arc, Lo Binghe should have rewired himself into a relatively stable state. Sucking someone dry every month should have consolidated him further. So why did he have the feeling that Lo Binghe's internal balance had, instead, worsened? It was even more turbulent than when Shen Qingqiu had incidentally helped suppress it after self-detonating. As Xia Hualing was hoisted increasingly higher, she saw Shen Qingqiu cough up blood, and she knew Lo Binghe had the intent to kill, that he was currently manipulating the heavenly demon blood within the vessel's body. "My lord, you absolutely mustn't kill him," she said, frantic. "Tonight is the full moon, and he'll undeniably be useful. There's no one more suitable than him." She wasn't really concerned about whether Shen Qingqiu lived or died. It was just that if she let Lo Binghe kill this weirdo in a rage, even if his body's demonic chi didn't suddenly surge and cause him to go berserk, his next step would have nothing good in store for her either. As she thought this, Xia Hualing felt that her life was rife with misfortune, and she became even more desperate, shouting herself hoarse. "Even if you don't care about him and don't care about me, think about the one who..." She threw it all out, raising her voice. "Think about the Holy Mausoleum!" Upon hearing those last two words, Lo Binghe's movements slowed. The Holy Mausoleum was the place where past generations of the demon race's ruling class were laid to eternal rest. Other than the current supreme ruler, the miscellaneous remainder of demon kind were, without exceptions, forbidden from entering, and all violators were killed. Within the Holy Mausoleum, the generations had accumulated various funerary treasures of rare quality in enormous quantity, talisman charms and spiritual artifacts, stuff that anyone would drool over. Rumor had it that within the Holy Mausoleum, there was even a mystical artifact capable of bringing the dead back to life in defiance of the natural order. With Xia Hualing as his double agent, the original Lo Binghe had successfully climbed to the top of the demon realm and infiltrated the Holy Mausoleum. Everyone knew whose hands those treasures had ended up in. If Xia Hualing was mentioning the Holy Mausoleum now, was she reminding Lo Binghe that he still needed her for something? Whatever it was, she'd obviously found the right angle. On hearing those two words, a somber red still flickered in Lo Binghe's eyes, but Xia Hualing's body suddenly dropped a bit, and the tips of her feet could now touch the ground if she strained. "You managed to remind me." Lo Binghe's fingertips languidly stroked Shin Mo, soothing the restless, agitated sword as he said in a low voice, "True, there's still the Holy Mausoleum." Xia Hualing was about to gasp for breath when she heard Lo Binghe say, "Are you threatening me?" Xia Hualing's soul almost fled her body. This subordinate wouldn't dare! Just tragic. All else aside, she was one of the two female leads of Proud Immortal Demon Way, who'd for years on end ranked in the top 3 of the female character popularity rankings. How had she ended up in this state? Shen Qingqiu hadn't managed to finish lamenting when it felt like someone was pulling on his front, and his entire body was abruptly hauled upward. His vision blurred, and in an instant his chest had chilled to the point of freezing. When he looked down, he saw Lo Binghe had pressed one hand against the left side of his chest. The following sensation was like someone had fired a cannon into his chest, the ammunition being pure, black, demonic chi. Once it entered his body, it spread like an explosion through his limbs and bones via his meridians. The system's jarringly clear, shrill notification made his head throb. Touch verification successful. Connected to central power source. Storing power. Self-system evaluation. All operations normal. Thank you for your continued patronage. Isn't this touch verification a little too advanced? The spiritual energy within Shen Qingqiu had started off as a full reservoir, but after this one brief link, more than half was sucked away. But this depleted state lasted for only an instant. The flesh body formed by the sun, moon, dew mushroom began to generate a rapid influx of spiritual energy. This influx was then absorbed even more rapidly by Lo Binghe. Shen Qingqiu felt like a mobile power bank. Okay, in my last life, maybe I ranted a little too much in the comment section, he howled internally. But honestly, I only ranted about airplanes shooting towards the sky's writing quality, and never the male lead, so why is Lobinghe always picking on me? Interesting to hear. He never picked on Lobinghe. He has always had a crush on him, right? Starting to sound like that. Do you think he read Lobinghe X-Reader? Oh my god, he's living Lobinghe X-Reader. Lobinghe made a sound of surprise and withdrew his palm. This body differed from his previous vessels. He'd extracted the majority of its spiritual energy and poured an enormous amount of demonic chi into it, yet it could still rapidly and automatically replenish itself. It seemed that Xia Hualing's single-minded insistence on capturing this person and all the great trouble she'd gone through to do so had been justified. With a thump, Xia Hualing fell to the ground in a seated position. She knew that she had been correct to capture this person, and that she'd now survived a great calamity and escaped death. Still terrified, she ignored how her knees were trembling and hurriedly corrected her posture to kneel on one knee. I don't care if you did it or not, said Lobinghe. Remember to never let me see him using this face. Xia Hualing hastily bowed her head. Understood! Lobinghe casually sliced open a spatial rift and stepped inside. The flippancy with which he left as he pleased was practically infuriating, just up and dumping the two of them in the waste, like he was altogether unconcerned with whether Shen Qingqiu went or stayed. But true enough, he had no need to be concerned, since Shen Qingqiu had drunk his blood. Wherever he fled, he could never truly escape. With a flick of his fingers, Lobinghe could appear in front of Shen Qingqiu and leave him mirrored in excruciating pain. So, does this mean I've become Binghe's lackey? Shen Qingqiu thought. Lobinghe hadn't recognized him, so if he followed along and did his job properly, maybe his prospects would actually be pretty good. Like hell. Wasn't it just once a month? A couple more rounds of this and he could get used to it. Currently disoriented as he was caught off guard when Xia Hualing moved to claw at his face. Shen Qingqiu blocked her two fingers. What are you doing? Xia Hualing clenched her teeth. Didn't you hear? He said just now that he doesn't want to see your face. Shen Qingqiu stared at her, then reached out and tore a piece of gauzy cloth from her body. What are you ripping my clothes for? Xia Hualing shrieked. Shen Qingqiu punched 2 holes into that cloth and covered his face with it, leaving only his eyes exposed. My clothes are already ragged enough, so I'm borrowing yours. Is clawing faces your only solution to everything? Covering myself with a cloth does the job. Must you resort to disfigurement? If Lobinghe hadn't needed to use this person once a month from now on, meaning she had to guarantee his absolute safety, Xia Hualing would have wanted to hack him to pieces. Though if she thought about it once more, even if Lobinghe hated counterfeits, he probably wouldn't have liked seeing this face drenched in blood either. So Xia Hualing could only swallow her anger and yell, "Go!" No issues with that. After all, it would be the same wherever he went, so he figured he might as well take things step by step and observe. By Shen Qingqiu's calculations, after Lobinghe completely suppressed Shinmo, he probably wouldn't need a vessel anymore. Then it would be goodbye forever, and that day likely wasn't far off. He just had to be especially careful so Lobinghe didn't discover he'd pulled off a great escape using the Sun Moon Dew mushroom. Grease Noir, thank you for your donation. Shen Qingqiu, you're hurting me. Wait, you're leaving? Are you ignoring me? Exactly. Having adjusted to his new role ridiculously quickly, Shen Qingqiu followed Lobinghe's lead and stepped into the rift. Xia Hualing was the last to enter, and the opening slowly sealed up behind her. The star employee of the demon race's ability to adjust her mental state wasn't too shabby either. After several deep breaths, Xia Hualing had calmed down and asked, "Your name?" The other side of the rift connected to a long corridor, its 2 walls decorated in hundreds of compilations of designs, though the lighting was rather dim. Shen Qingqiu was thinking that this place looked somewhat familiar as he said, absent-mindedly, "Peerless Cucumber." Xia Hualing muttered, "Peerless Cucumber?" then exploded in anger. "Are you mocking me?" The more Shen Qingqiu looked around, the more he felt that even if he'd never been here before, he must have at least heard the description somewhere, and in the process, he fully ignored Xia Hualing. Having received no response, she threatened him angrily. No matter where you're from, now that you've drunk heavenly demon blood, you henceforth belong to the Lord. If you try to rebel, death and a desecrated corpse will be a kindness. After turning a corner and passing several disciples wearing familiar light yellow robes, Shen Qingqiu was finally certain this was Huan Hua Palace, Lil Binghe's headquarters in the human realm. But this was far too different from the Huan Hua Palace he knew. Huan Hua Palace was supposed to be resplendent and majestic, dazzling with gold and jade, each plank and stone grand and lavish to the utmost. But the architecture before his eyes could only be described with one word: lifeless. Past generations of palace masters had to adored extravagance, and Lil Binghe was no exception. It was just that his love was for extravagant darkness. Extravagant darkness, Ebony Raven Way. Even the 2 rows of oil lamps lining the corridor seemed on the verge of flickering out. In the blink of an eye, Xia Hualing had changed into the apparel of a Huan Hua Palace disciple. When deliberately suppressing her demonic chi, she looked like any ordinary beautiful human girl. Lil Binghe passed through the hall after hall like he was in a fugue before he sat down in the main palace hall. Shen Qingqiu had wanted to go for a stroll elsewhere, but Xia Hualing grabbed him. "Where are you going? Don't wander around. Follow me." Shen Qingqiu didn't want to clash with her, so he could only line up beside her on the side of the main hall, back perfectly straight. Immediately thereafter, some disciples entered to make their reports. Several paid their respects to the throne, reverently relaying information. At first, Shen Qingqiu listened without paying attention, but suddenly he heard a name that jabbed him like a needle. "Palace Master," a disciple said. "During the time you were gone, that Lo Qingge came twice more. When he was unable to find you, he demolished Linghua Domain." As Shen Qingqiu listened to this, his chest tightened, his gums aching slightly. When would you use your gums aching as a description? Damn, that really made my gums ache. If Lo Qingge had done such a thing, surely he isn't taking revenge for my sake, right? Oh! A flutter! One of the boisterous harem has come for justice. The lack of concern in Lo Binghe's face said, "Whatever, my important self has plenty of money. Let him demolish what he likes. Anything else?" The disciple glanced at him, wiped his cold sweat, and spoke his next words with excessive carefulness. "One more thing. The little palace mistress wants to see you." Aching for that dick. Shen Qingqiu's first thought was that Lo Binghe was about to summon his beloved concubine to the hall with a doting expression on his face. But to his surprise, Lo Binghe remained frosty and indifferent, as if even speaking would be too much. He warily waved his hand, implying rejection. "But," the disciple said awkwardly, "but I'm already here." The mere sound of this voice made Shen Qingqiu's teeth and body ache. Before he knew it, the little palace mistress had already stormily charged into the hall, her presence as forceful as spitting flames. Following alongside her was a comely, slightly older woman in light yellow robes. Her eyes were hazy, as if on the verge of tears. It was Qin Wanyue. Shen Qingqiu did a subtle double take, a little surprised. At this time, these 2 maidens should still have been blossoming flowers in their prime, but when he looked at them, there was a clear impression of haggardness. The little palace mistress was especially afflicted. Those 2 splotches of uneven crimson on her face were probably due to a rushed application of cosmetics. No matter how he looked at her, she had not even the slightest bit of a well-pampered mistress's gradient glee. The little palace mistress lifted her chin, looking straight at Lo Binghe. "You've returned!" Lo Binghe glanced at her and didn't say anything. "Little palace mistress, let's go back," Qin Wanyue said quietly. "Do you imagine I don't know who you think of day and night?" the little palace mistress asked caustically. "The reason you endure humiliation and remain by my side, exhaustively thinking and scheming, isn't it all to lay eyes on him again? So why are you retreating now that you finally see him, acting all fragile and pitiful? Why not try to stop me before we got here, instead of only attempting to dissuade me now?" Head lowered, Qin Wanyue dared not speak, her ears flushed. The little palace mistress clicked her tongue, directing it to the hall. "Have you found Daddy?" she asked. "The old palace master has gone into traveling seclusion," Lo Binghe said. "No one has seen a trace of him." This was an incredibly egregious example of a stock and sincere answer. As far as Shen Qingqiu understood it, and this went for various dramas and novels, it was widely accepted that anyone on the throne who said this line was the main culprit who had caused no one to see a trace of the previous leader. The little palace mistress laughed harshly. That line again. Would you like to expend too much energy to even think up a new excuse for me? Alright, I won't talk about Daddy. I'll just talk about myself. If I didn't come find you, would you ever come to see me? She asked shrilly. Hi, Sumo. How dare you imply Lo Binghe is the kind of scoundrel who recklessly wastes resources, who tosses his women aside without sleeping with them. Don't insult his dignity as a top-shelf stallion novel male lead. Too bad Lo Binghe plainly didn't care to preserve that dignity. Several Huan Hua Palace disciples appeared in the palace hall. Shen Qingqiu assumed they were going to console the little palace mistress, but in actuality, they forcibly grabbed her and dragged her off. On the way, she screamed and yelled. Qin Yuanwei followed alongside her, but sometimes she shot tearful glances at Lo Binghe out of the corner of her eye, as if hoping for something. Before this point, Xia Hualing had been staring straight ahead, her posture perfectly upright, but now she wrinkled her brow and followed them out, standing in the corridor to berate them. What have you lot been doing? You were asked to keep an eye on her, and this is how you do it? Shen Qingqiu had always maintained a respectful distance when it came to fights between female characters, but having observed this, he felt like the gap between his expectations and reality was too great to ignore. He hurried out after them, continuing to observe. I'm sorry, I neglected my duties, Qin Yuanwei said while holding back tears. I didn't stop the little palace mistress. Xia Hualing swiftly cut her off. It was entirely your fault. I've heard that saving face is especially important to the human realm, woman, but even though you failed to seduce the Lord many times, you shamelessly refused to leave. So that's all your face amounts to. Moreover, not leaving is one thing, but you can't even keep a proper eye on a single person. You're her Shijie, so cultivation is inferior to yours, yet you didn't stop her, and you didn't even let her throw a tantrum before the Lord. Who are you humiliating? Yourself? Who are you humiliating yourself and acting pitiful for? Listening to Xia Hualing point out her inadequacies to her face, Qin Yuanwei wanted to die of shame and resentment. Even in the original work, Xia Hualing had deeply hated Qin Yuanwei and always found fault with her. It seemed that though they hadn't entered the harem together this time, their relationship hadn't improved in the slightest. Xia Hualing then turned her head and swapped out her entire expression. She spoke to the little palace mistress while full of smiles. These past few years, the little palace mistress has lived a life of luxury, just like she did before. Other than the occasional house arrest, you've suffered no real mistreatment, right? So why are you so aggrieved? Who the hell are you? The little palace mistress asked viciously. How dare you, an indecent vixen seductress from heaven knows where... how dare you, an indecent vixen seductress from heaven knows where, speak like that to me in Huan Hua Palace? How is the way he treats me any different from a kept pig? Xia Hualing pouted. Then why doesn't the little palace mistress tell me? What else can she do other than eat and sleep like the animals she brought up? Qin Yuanwei sobbed. Little palace mistress, let's go. Everything has long since changed. On what grounds can you make me leave? The little palace mistress said hysterically. This is my Huan Hua Palace. Mine. Get out of my way. Traitors, the lot of you. Every time I hear the word lot, I immediately hear like they should be speaking in a British accent. The scene fell into complete chaos, with people sent flying every which way. Shen Qingqiu discovered a most shocking truth. He carefully counted on his fingers. Xia Hualing was made not a wife, but a subordinate. Toils on death, on overtime, and her pay and benefits are nothing to write home about. From her boss's attitude, doesn't look like he wants an office romance either. X. Lu Mingyan didn't even exchange the sword tassel love token. X. Ning Yingying, after puberty, stopped demonstrating the fanatical love from her naive youth towards the male leave. Seems like her lovesick brain's been cured. X. The little palace mistress, bitter locked-up woman, she herself said that Lo Binghe treats her like a kept pig. X. Qin Yuanwei, bitter locked-up woman, the sequel, failed at offering herself countless times, moonlights as the little palace mistress's nanny. X. Chu Haitong, after dragging Shen Qingqiu down, she's supposed to be happily going down to Cuck Town with Lo Binghe. Going down to Cuck Town? Why is she still wandering about like a vagrant? X. The three Taoist nuns, a second in the spotlight, hello and goodbye. XXX. Dot dot dot. Looking down this list, Binghe had really ended up in an awful state. As the hale and hearty male lead of a stallion novel, are you doing okay or not? A perfectly good harem had been broken down to the point that it was coughing up smoke. If this were a novel and the plot had unfolded to the point without the protagonist collecting a single wife, what satisfaction points were there to be had? Shanxingqiu promptly called up the system to check the various categories' point values. Unexpectedly, he discovered that beneath the B points, the protagonist's satisfaction points not only hadn't decreased, they had actually risen to over 900. Because many of the points had been added while the system was offline and hibernating, he hadn't received the notification. Shanxingqiu prodded open the many new windows providing detailed calculations that he'd unknowingly received. Lined up within them were a bunch of new records. Ning Ying Ying subverted the trope of a female character being a brainless martyr for love. B points plus 100. Ming Fan subverted the trope of a side character being an illogical idiot. B points plus 50. Lu Mingyan subverted the trope of a female character being a nonsensical martyr for love. B points plus 150. Dot dot dot. The ubiquitous love martyr female character and idiot cannon fodder. These 2 points together constituted the classic landmine elements of stallion novels. Now the female characters weren't relationship-based martyrs for the male lead, and the side characters' EQs and IQs had also risen, so naturally the B points had risen too. This Shanxingqiu understood. But while Binghe hadn't bedded a single girl, the system hadn't deducted any of his satisfaction points. That part was unscientific. Oh my god. Ugh. Could it be that currently the male lead's satisfaction points were no longer bound to the male lead himself? Or to say it another way, what determined the male lead's satisfaction no longer lay in such pleasures? Could it be... Shanxingqiu couldn't resist the urge to raise his eyes and take in Binghe's dismal expression. He suddenly felt that he couldn't stare straight at him anymore. It was criminal. Criminal! Could it be that he'd raised an otherwise totally fine stallion novel male lead to be asexual? Oh my god, that asexual representation, Binghe. This is twice that Shanxingqiu has assumed asexual before gay. Yeah, the only sexualities, straight or asexual. That's so funny. Straight, ace, or impotent, the 3 genders. Shanxingqiu closed the windows, his feelings complicated. Then he realized that something about his location didn't seem quite right. Just now, he'd definitely been in Huan Hua Palace, minding his own business. So how had he ended up walking into a forested grove without noticing? And regardless of how he studied it, it was a strikingly familiar-looking bamboo forest. The bamboo forest rustled as a gentle breeze blew through it. Shanxingqiu didn't even need to guess the identity of the location. Even if he'd been shown only a corner of this place, he'd known where he was. Sangchong Mountain, Qingjing Peak. How could he not be familiar with the place where he'd thus holed up for the longest period of time in his life? Your current location, the land of Binghe's dream realm. When Binghe's consciousness was unstable and its fluctuations were especially large, outsiders were often affected, sucked into a dream realm that was as vast as deep sea vortex. Or you could say they became collateral damage for Binghe's incomparably huge black hole of an imagination. For a specific example, please see the beginning of the Meng Mo instance from way back when. Shanxingqiu had run through the Meng Mo scenario with Binghe at that time. This was operating on the same principle as strangers the first time, but familiar the second. It was similar to how, after connecting to a Wi-Fi network once, the second time you would automatically connect without needing to enter the password. Shanxingqiu quickly touched his own face and found no beard. Within the dream realm, he'd returned to his original appearance, leaving him with absolutely no sense of security. Just as he was thinking of a place to hide and wait for Binghe to awaken by himself, some disciples walked towards him, in 2s and 3s, and Shanxingqiu jerked to a halt, wholly forgetting to conceal himself. The problem was that although the expressions on these oncoming and going disciples were slightly wooden, every single one had noses and eyes, their facial features complete. Shanxingqiu could even name quite a few. Not even Meng Mo was able to simultaneously support a vast barrier while guaranteeing the facial features of the life forms within. Yet Lo Binghe could already do it, and to such a great level of detail. Oh, Kate, thank you for your donation. Moving to bed cause pain, but I sent the Wei Wuxian whip. Oh! Oh! Oh my god, I can't show that to the chat, but that is fantastic! Oh man, I hope your wrist feels better. I hope Wei Wuxian's wrist feels good too. Oh. Though Shen Qingqiu had long known that Lo Binghe's OP-ness could eclipse the heavens, he still couldn't help but let out a sigh. Amazing. After exiting the little bamboo forest, he came upon Qingjing's bamboo house. Between the scattered stalks of whoa. Some tall and some short, spring waters flowed in a rush, tinkling rhythmically and reflecting the sunlight in a rainbow of colors. Shen Qingqiu was worried that Lo Binghe was inside the house and halted his steps. Having strolled this bamboo forest countless times while idling about, he easily found a place to hide and came to stop within the shadows. Suddenly, there came the sound of footsteps on fallen leaves, and from within the overlapping verdant bamboo, out walked a youth in white, 15 or 16 years of age. The youth's skin was fair, and he appeared to have run all the way here. A layer of sweat covered his forehead, while his cheeks were rosy, which made for an incredibly adorable sight. The lines of his eyes and brows were precise without being sharp, and they radiated a sense of youthful inexperience. Shen Qingqiu mourned despite himself. It'd been a long time since he'd seen the youthful Lo Binghe, that small, refreshing sun. Oh. While cultivating on Qingjing Peak, Lo Binghe had liked to wear white, but after his rebellious phase began, the devil incarnate Lo Binghe had come to wear only black, pretty much the polar opposite of before. This youthful tenderness was even more of a memory, and it was no longer in evidence at all. Lo Binghe strode forward, calling out in high spirits, "Shizhen!" Shen Qingqiu was hidden in the shadows, so naturally this call wasn't for him. He turned his gaze, and as expected, he saw a form in teal robes standing at the far end of the cobblestone path. The Shen Qingqiu, forged from memories in the dream realm, stood in the midst of a stretch of a verdant, flourishing bamboo. His figure was slender, like unto a thin stalk of bamboo himself, and his expression was unperturbed, radiating the cool aura of an immortal, while his poise was veritably somewhat otherworldly. As a bystander, the current Shen Qingqiu judged him from head to toe and still had to applaud. To be able to fake it to this level, he really was too superb. Also, that Lo Binghe could perfectly restore all these tiny details, as expected of the man who would personally succeed Meng Mo. The Shen Qingqiu in the midst of the bamboo appeared to have been lost in thought. He cocked his head and asked, "Finished running?" Lo Binghe nodded. 10 laps! All finished! Shen Qingqiu finally remembered what slice of memory this was. The 10 laps Lo Binghe spoke of referred to 10 laps around the fence encircling Qingjing Peak. Shen Qingqiu had personally assigned him this task. He hadn't done it because he had a twisted hobby of inflicting corporal punishment upon the great male lead, but because he just couldn't endure it any longer. After taking over Lo Binghe's education, he'd mulled it over and decided that since he was to be a role model and worthy teacher, he ought to at least do some proper teaching. This way, after they fell out in the future, he would be able to utter the phrase, "Within a master-disciple relationship lies the grace of knowledge passed down," without reddening from shame before the words left his mouth. In his course curriculum, the first thing to correct was the absolute mess that was Lo Binghe's footwork and form. As for the results, he'd mentioned it a while back. The most significant outcome was that Lo Binghe had repeatedly fallen into his arms for half a month. "Once more," said Shen Qingqiu, "if you get it wrong again this time, it won't be only 10 laps. Lo Binghe obediently performed the maneuver once more. While he certainly didn't fall into Shen Qingqiu's arms this time, instead his legs buckled and he ended up directly embracing Shen Qingqiu's waist. Oh my god. "Shizhen, this disciple is useless," Lo Binghe said bashfully. "After 10 laps, my legs have no strength." Shen Qingqiu sighed. "This disciple knows," Lo Binghe said, fully aware. 20 laps. "What laps? Go back and rest." Shen Qingqiu had no interest in abusing children. At that time, he'd truly given up. Let him do whatever he wants. No more teaching. There's no sense of accomplishment whatsoever. I'm throwing out the textbooks. Lo Binghe failed to realize that he'd been declared a hopeless case. "Thank you, Shizhen," he said in high hopes. "This disciple will absolutely make up the 20 laps tomorrow. Is there anything Shizhen would like to eat tonight?" To the side, Shen Qingqiu rubbed his forehead. Lo Binghe in those days had genuinely been naive and sweet to an exceptional degree. Enduring labor, resentment, beatings, and verbal abuse, being stepped on, kicked, and made to cook. Of course, Shen Qingqiu hadn't done most of those things. After watching this artificial master-disciple pair, one tall and one short, walk off while conversing, Shen Qingqiu came out of his hiding place and lapsed into bewilderment. Within the dream realm barrier Lo Binghe had constructed for himself, he would naturally choose to relive only his most wonderful memories. If any memories of Qingjing Peak could occupy such a niche, they should have been the ones related to Ning Yingying. So why had this one played out? The dream realm precisely reflected the truth of a person's heart. It would neither lie nor deceive. Within Shen Qingqiu welled up a thought he'd never thought before. This thought was admittedly a bit shameless, but probably, maybe, possibly, those memories of this master-disciple relationship occupied a better place in Lo Binghe's heart than Shen Qingqiu had thought. Oh good, we're only 1.5, 2 novels through for him to think that. At the very least, it could say that he'd given Lo Binghe a couple of moments that were decent enough to look back on, so perhaps the entire thing hadn't been completely unbearable. However, was Lo Binghe a bit of a masochist? Shen Qingqiu didn't want to badmouth him, but normally a memory about being punished with 10 or 20 laps could never have anything to do with the word wonderful, right? Suddenly, a trace of chilly air unfurled over Shen Qingqiu's nape, as if a gaze both hot and cold was crawling upward along his back. He unconsciously looked behind him. Lo Binghe, clothed in black, was leaning against a stalk of bamboo and staring straight at him. Oh shit. The two of them stared at each other without speaking. In the flesh? In the flesh! Shen Qingqiu's initial reflex wasn't to make a break for it, but to remain in place, unmoving, and adjust his expression to be as natural as possible. This wasn't because he was scared stiff with legs too weak to run, more that he'd long since psychologically prepared himself to encounter this kind of scenario. Running couldn't solve the problem at all. This barrier was Lo Binghe's home field, so he could run as fast as he could and it'd still be pointless. The gaze being simultaneously hot and cold hadn't been his imagination, nor was it a mistaken description. Lo Binghe's expression really did seem like both ice and fire, a deep chill within, as well as a burning heat. The two temperatures combined bizarrely and condensed with his eyes, which were locked securely on Shen Qingqiu's form. Shen Qingqiu braced himself, letting their eyes meet. After a long while, Lo Binghe sighed first. He murmured, "Being able to dream is also a wonderful thing." When Shen Qingqiu heard this, he realized that he'd managed to get away with his risky maneuver. By summoning his courage, he'd actually won the gamble. At this moment, Lo Binghe's absent-mindedness had enabled Shen Qingqiu to be taken as a dream realm creation. Oh, he's got it bad. This poor baby. He really loves him so much. Shen Qingqiu studied Lo Binghe leaning against the bamboo, stare fixed on himself. He thought of Lo Binghe's numb appearance on the throne earlier that day, all alone. When he compared to that scene in the original work of Lo Binghe, surrounded by splendid luxuries, his every call answered by hundreds, Shen Qingqiu's heart throbbed a bit, though he tried to stop it. Lo Binghe didn't have a single wife by his side to heal his injuries, to pamper and ask after him. How could his heart not throb? A perfectly fine stallion novel male lead had fallen to such a state. What man could bear to look? "Shizen, won't you speak with me a little?" Lo Binghe asked. At this moment, Shen Qingqiu's heart was full of sympathy for Lo Binghe. "All right," he said amicably. "What do you want to talk about?" When he spoke, Lo Binghe unexpectedly went rigid, then straightened at once and left the bamboo stalk, the expression on his face one of slight disbelief. Oh no, Shen Qingqiu thought. Was something amiss in that reaction I came up with? But since he'd already started acting, he had to act until the end. He absolutely couldn't give up halfway. Embarrassment was a small thing. Blowing his cover was not. Shen Qingqiu smiled. "Didn't you ask this master to speak with you?" He used the tone he'd often deployed in the past when interacting with Lo Binghe. The corner of Lo Binghe's mouth twitched, and he unhurriedly walked towards him. Shen Qingqiu kept his expression steady, while casually and gently opening and closing the folding fan in his hand, using the small movements to alleviate his anxiety. Kicter's gonna be a Binghe shipper because she loves toxic men. Binghe's feeling romantical. Oh, brother. Lo Binghe was silent for a moment. In the past, Shizen wouldn't even glance my way and would walk off without paying me heed. Forget about talking to me. Perhaps my imagination today is a little too indulgent. Shen Qingqiu's heart stirred. Though he still felt that something was off, these words really did sound a tad pitiful. Could it be that within Lo Binghe's mind, Shen Qingqiu always treated him with indifference, was lofty and unfeeling? Lo Binghe really did have slight masochistic tendencies, huh? As Shen Qingqiu thought this, in his distraction, his hand unconsciously began to move, and in accordance with the natural order, he patted the top of Lo Binghe's head. He performed this action countless times. The saying went that it was forbidden to touch men's heads and women's waists, but the more something was forbidden, the more he felt the urge to do it. Shen Qingqiu especially loved patting people's heads. Unfortunately, as a grown adult, he couldn't often indulge in this sort of rude impulse, and moreover, no one would let him touch them however he wanted. Luckily, the Lo Binghe of the past hadn't minded when Shen Qingqiu placed his hands on his head, so Shen Qingqiu had aimlessly patted him whenever, until it had eventually become a habit, and now he was doing it again. Stop! That is so cute. He had barely patted Lo Binghe 2 or 3 times when he was caught off guard. Lo Binghe lifted his own arm, his right hand grasping Shen Qingqiu's left wrist. Shen Qingqiu's expression stiffened as he thought, isn't this a bit too close? Straight after, his right wrist had been firmly captured as well. Lifting his head in shock, Shen Qingqiu felt his vision blur. Something like a feather delicately brushed his cheek. From on top of his lips came a foreign sensation, soft and slightly cool. In this way, his eyes opened wide, and he met gazes with Lo Binghe's pair of pitch-black irises. His throat bobbed once difficultly. He wanted to speak, but he couldn't open his mouth because someone was biting down on his lips. Oh shit! Oh my god! Oh my god! Oh my god! Lo Binghe shut his eyes, his jet black eyelashes casting curved shadows on his cheeks. It made him look incredibly endearing, but his hands and mouth were a totally different story. He angrily held Shen Qingqiu's lips between his teeth, chomping, the action carrying a hint of childish resentfulness. His right hand released Shen Qingqiu's frozen limb and moved to the center of his waist instead, pressing Shen Qingqiu into his arms. Even though their builds were similar, he could still entirely enfold Shen Qingqiu with this simple one-armed embrace. Shen Qingqiu's worldview repeatedly collapsed and reformed, cycling infinitely in the speed of light. What broke through his breakdown was a system notification, accompanied by celebratory background music. Satisfaction points plus 500! Congratulations, congratulations, congratulations! Important things must be said 3 times! Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! What the fuck? Shen Qingqiu snapped in his head. He finally understood why, even though Lo Binghe hadn't slept with a single girl, even though neither hide nor hair could be seen of his innumerable harem of beauties, his satisfaction points had never fallen, because he'd used Shen Qingqiu to make up for the deficit. Ah! The Shen Qingqiu who'd suddenly understood the truth was half horrified and half enraged. He raised his foot and kicked. Lo Binghe neither ducked nor sidestepped and took the kick head on, but he didn't retreat a single step. He even continued to hold Shen Qingqiu without letting go. I'm not even allowed to dream? He asked, looking both angry and wounded. Oh my god, he fucking kissed him! Well, he bit him more like, but oh. Binghe just scummed in his pants. Oh my gosh. I can't believe that. He did it. And then Shen Qingqiu kicks him? Oh, Miss Rosie, thank you for gifting a membership. He couldn't slap Lo Binghe awake, but he couldn't let him continue this foolishness either. Hurry and wake up, even though this is a dream. You didn't dream up this big shot. Oh my god. This was the real being stuck between a rock and a hard place. Shen Qingqiu hadn't figured out what to yell in order to calm himself down when his back was slammed into the strand of bamboo without warning, and he was pressed into it. Lo Binghe lowered his head and descended once more. It wasn't Shen Qingqiu's first time being kissed, but it was his first time feeling the threat of someone going crazy and biting off his lips. Between disordered breaths, Lo Binghe whispered, "Shizhen, I was wrong." Oh my god! Oh my god! Dearsy, thank you so much for gifting the membership. Oh my goodness. Shen Qingqiu managed to free one of his hands and pushed against Lo Binghe's chest. He really didn't want to do this kind of woman from a good family resisting a ruffian pose, but you fucker, does this look like you're knowing what... You fucker, does this look like you knowing that you're in the wrong? Shen Qingqiu was the one who had been wrong, really wrong, completely wrong. Wind from an empty cave. Yeah, right. There was a scientific basis to all that Jianghu gossip. Every single gossiper must have been a fallen angel in their previous life, hence their ability to see past the surface to the reality beneath. Oh my god, oh my god. Shen Qingqiu hadn't raised the male lead to be an asexual, and it was an issue of whether or not Lo Binghe was a masochist. The reality was much more terrifying. He'd raised the male lead to be gay! Ah! Oh my god! Let's get some pride flags in the chat. Oh my god! Chunching Castle, thank you so much for gifting 5 memberships. That's so kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. To celebrate such a moment. Oh my goodness. That is so funny. Oh man. He finally figured it out. All it took was Bing Bong almost biting his mouth off. Yeah. Love wins. Ugh. And this whole time he thought he was European. He's a pink pony girl. Oh my god. Oh my god. Carly, thank you for being a member for 6 months. And thank you, CSL, for being a member. Raise the male lead to be gay. Oh my gosh. Wow. Oh, Moto! Oh my god, thank you for gifting 10 memberships! Holy shit! That is so generous of you, Moto. Thank you so much. Oh my god, what a moment to celebrate. Orion, thank you for your donation. Oh my gosh. Moto, for real, that is so kind of you. Thank you so much. Oh my gosh. Wow. A big day for the gays, a big day for Shen Qingqiu, and a really big day for Lo Binghe. Oh, Jay, thank you for gifting a membership. And Cup Noodle Cat, thank you for gifting a membership too. Lo Binghe, I'm not sorry, Shizhen. That is so funny. Oh my gosh. Oh my gosh. Good for him. I'm glad he went for it. He'd raised the male lead to be gay. Ah! No wonder he hadn't collected a single wife. No wonder his harem was in shambles. Women could no longer attract his interest, and they were no longer linked to his satisfaction points. What the actual fuck? Shen Qingqiu absolutely refused to submit, tenaciously resisting and struggling with all his might. He was just considering which option would result in a worse conclusion, self-detonating again, or kicking Lo Binghe's crucial bits, when Lo Binghe released him without warning. He looked at the sky above them with its swirling vortex of clouds, and his expression abruptly darkened. In an instant, the scenery and people before Shen Qingqiu's eyes crumbled and dissipated, the illusion shattering into 1,000 pieces. At the same time, on the roof of Huan Hua Palace main hall, Shen Qingqiu sprang to his feet. Now this was the real world. Shan Jingzhou took in a series of violent breaths and finally managed to settle his mind. Suddenly, he realized that every area beneath the main palace had been lit, and the alarm bells were ringing all together en masse. He poked his head over the edge, his clothes flapping ceaselessly in the night wind, and looked down from above. Countless lights were converging on the palace. Those were the disciples of Huan Hua Palace's various domains, swarming here from all directions. "Stand guard! This is an order to all domains! Stand guard!" "Another breach!" someone cursed. "How many times has he broken in by now? Have we managed to hold him off even once?" Shan Jingzhou rejoiced. An invasion was ideal. It would let him escape into the chaos. Who cared about that heavenly demon blood or whatever? His integrity was more important. Leave first and worry later. Goodbye! But in the end, he hadn't flown 2 steps before he heard someone say. He went in the direction of Huan Hua Pavilion. "Form up and stop Lo Jingge!" Shan Jingzhou's feet slipped out from under him, and he immediately turned around and ran back. Damn it! Lo Jingge just had to come now. Shan Jingzhou couldn't just throw him to a wholly broken down and presently raging Lo Binghe, right? Oh no. Huan Hua Pavilion was where successive generations of palace masters had lived and cultivated, and it wasn't too far. With a couple of steps, Shan Jingzhou leapt off the roof, mingling with the main unit and hurrying over. They had yet to enter Huan Hua Pavilion when wave after wave of frigid, threatening wind assaulted them head-on. From within the structure, there came an enraged shout, full of murderous intent. "Get out!" When they'd heard the alarm bells, some ignorant disciples had bursted in, and several dozen people in front were sent flying by an enormously powerful wave of qi. Shan Jingzhou was in the wave after, so he managed to dodge this blow in time. Picking out a good position, he took advantage of the chaos and slipped inside. A freezing chill hit him in the moment he entered, eliciting a wave of goosebumps. It was as if the entirety of Huan Hua Pavilion had become an enormous ice cave. A single step inside was like entering a land of frost and snow. Chill wind flooded Shan Jingzhou's robes and sleeves, and the cold sweat on his back and forehead rapidly froze into a thin layer of ice. One could imagine exactly how inhospitable the interior had to be. Not only was the temperature abnormally low, the doors were all sealed shut, the windows airtight. It was both freezing and dark. If it hadn't been for the intruder, that is, Sangchong Mountain's director of demolitions, Lo Jingge, forcibly blowing open a huge hole in the walls. That's so funny. Like, imagine him with like a bunch of TNT. This place would have been like a coffin made of ice. The top of the sitting platform at the center of the pavilion was half shrouded by curtains, and several black and white outer robes were messily piled beside it. Lo Binghe was only wearing an inner robe, and he looked like he'd just gotten up from bed. His black hair was disheveled, and his clothes were in disarray, the neckline gaping and crooked. His face was abnormally pale, yet his lips had color, while his eyes flashed with a cold light, the aura sinister and menacing. His lips had color because he was making out with his fist in bed. It seemed he was prepared to fight, his claws and fangs bared. Lo Jingge faced him from 7 steps away, their bones protruding on his sword-holding hand, his entire face ashen. He stared at Lo Binghe, who calmly sat next to the platform, and enunciated each word. "You bastard!" Ooh! Sexy man showdown? And that's the end of the chapter. Oh my god. I had no idea what their first kiss was like. Damn. Now I know. Binghe thought he was dreaming. All 3 of them need to kiss. Oh my god. Conclusion, they should all kiss. Oh my god. So rudely awakened. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I can only imagine how upset. Does this mean that he's had other dreams where he's kissed him, or was this his first dream where he could really kiss him? Like, was this the first time that he's seen, like been able to, like, because Shan Jingzhou wasn't supposed to be there, and he was, because he got actually put in the dream, right? Every dream is kissing Shan Jingzhou. If it better have been his first kiss, because that was a bad kiss. He's had dreams of him before. Oh, he would walk away in his other dreams. Oh. I see, I see. Oh my gosh. Damn. I see, okay. That's why he was so surprised when Shen Qingqiu said something. I'm excited for them to have perhaps another kiss. I'm excited for Shen Qingqiu to have more feelings. Now that he's realized Binghe is gay. The real reason why Lo Binghe lost his harem is because there can only be one harem master at a time, and it's gonna be Shen Qingqiu this time. Kate says there's a lot for you to be excited about. Oh, I'm very excited. Oh, I know Shen Qingqiu's got feelings. He's, yeah, he definitely... If he couldn't clock that Binghe was gay, how is he gonna clock that he himself was gay? Head pats equal the natural order of things. It's not gay if it's a head pat. Oh, Leo, I got your picture this time. That is awesome. Shalian with his hat. That's so sick. I love it, Leo. That's so awesome. Thank you for sending that. I love Shalian, and I love that hat. Quinn says, I also love getting head pats. Kate says wine bottle is a weird scene even for me. I was thinking about that earlier today. I'm like, how the fuck did Shen Qingqiu allow that? Wait until you see the extras. The obliviousness is amazing. He's still... Throughout the whole book, he's still oblivious? It's not gay that I always wax poetic about his beauty, I swear. Oh, there's flashback scenes in the extras. Oh, okay, okay. Shen Qingqiu remains an unreliable narrator through and through. He likes a lot more than he pretends to. I love it. Shen Qingqiu is dumb. Put the asterisk of no homo on everything. Yeah. He will do almost anything for Binghe if he starts crying. Oh my god. Shen Qingqiu is literally like, I'm not enjoying this gay sex. I also came 3 times. Oh my god. It's not gay if it's Binghe because it's Binghe, and Binghe is perfect and amazing and beautiful. Oh my god. Binghe is the most pathetic baby. He really should be a bottom, but he's forced to top. Shunching Joe, is it gay if I kiss my husband goodnight? I'm sure there's some good fanfics where Binghe bottoms and he's just like, yes. Shizen, can I please shove this open wine bottle? What? What? Oh my god, I'm so confused why this happens. Hashtag let Binghe be a pillow princess. Shunching Cho, I'm not gay, but I should definitely be the bottom. I didn't know it was open! No! Oh, it's very open. Glug, glug, glug. Oh, fuck. Shenjing Cho would be an enema Instagram girly. Stop! That's so funny. Esper Lady, thank you so much for your donation. Today's chapter was great. Your reading is great to work to. I wrote a fic to help Stitch feel better and sent it to your Insta. Also, I sent your birthday present yesterday. Oh my god! That is so sweet of you. You wrote a fic for Stitch? That's so sweet. Oh, thank you so much. And you sent me a birthday present. Oh my goodness. That is so nice of you. Thank you so much for thinking of us. That's very sweet of you. I will do my best to read the extras live in the way that I read some of the scenes from A Date with Death. I will read until I feel like something is too explicit, and then I will reword it in my own words so we can still be on the same page. Pretty sure he tried to bottom once in the extras, but Shenjing Cho wouldn't let him. Oh my god. Hey, I read one of the Wangxian extras in a very old video of mine, so it can be done. I know lots of wholesome synonyms. You're not going to be able to read the wine bottle one at all. Try me! Oh man, I think it's the video I did of when we got book 5 of Modazushi, and then we flipped to the back and I started reading from it. Wholesome synonyms, yeah. What are the other kinks? Oh my god. Sumo says, if I remember correctly, it's one of the funniest vids I saw on your channel. Oh, thank you. Chrysanthemum. Did you read Wei Wuxian shoving the sword in him? I sure did, Kate. Oh, 7. What a wild extra indeed. Thank God Shalian doesn't have anything shoved in him. That you know of. That we know of. If he's getting anything odd shoved in him, I think it would be a Hua Chung and a San Long at the same time kind of thing. Spark Major, I'd read that. And Wu Ming, oh my god. Wu Ming can watch. He's too full of Hua Chung's special something that he needed to open the magic door. Right? Isn't that fucking crazy? Wu Ming in the cuck chair. He's smiling behind the mask of smiling. We all know Ming wouldn't mind the Bishan treatment. Yup. Yup. I feel like MXTX made Ming too animal-like to involve him in anything explicit, you know? It's like... He definitely is a metaphor for Hua Chung's, desire. And dick. I think a lot of people forget the extra where Shalian reads Hua Chung the bedtime story that was actually Hualian fanfic. It basically advertised his cream pie kink to the whole world. Yep. And the amnesia one, where he's like all over his nipples. Shelby! Thank you for your donation, Shelby! I missed the reading, but happy to be here now. Aw. Thanks, Shelby. I really appreciate that. I'm glad that you're here. We're having a very adult conversation. Ming literally got bigger when Shalian called him a good boy and kissed him. He's absolutely Hua Chung's dick. Oh, yeah. If he when he touches him, he gets bigger? Like, come on. Bye, Luca! Kate says, I need MXTX to write the Hualian Mpreg extra. I know she wants to. Dude, in the revised edition horse scene, there is a moment where Hua Chung says, I hate kids. And Shalian is like shocked. He's like, I didn't know Hua Chung hated kids. And I thought of you. Oh, Leo, that's great. I do think in that moment, Hua Chung was very jealous of the kids because the kids could write and he couldn't write. And they were also taking up Shalian's time, so. Hating kids made you think of me? No, it made me think of like, oh, like Hua Chung wanting kids versus hating kids because I associate you with Hualian Empreg, Kate. Hua Chung jealous of literacy? Guys, literally in this scene, there's like a writing. Hua Chung gets amnesia, and they're in like a dream world, and there's a writing competition, and everyone thinks Hua Chung knows how to write really well because he's so hot, and obviously hot people know how to write. And then he's like, "Yeah, I can do it." And then he grabs the brush, and Shalian's like, "Oh, you're holding the brush wrong." And then he like runs away and is like, "Don't look at me while I do it." And he starts writing, and he's like crumpling up all the papers, and then Shalian comes over and he's like, "Don't look at them!" And Shalian's like, "I'm not gonna look at them." And then he starts setting all the papers on fire. This is in the revised edition. Hot people obviously know how to write, literally. And yeah, and Shalian ends up helping him burn the evidence. Yeah, he's like, I'll help you, I'll help you. Yeah, Hua Chung not being able to write was really good. Because it's like, when would he write? He can read, and he can talk, and he can draw. So why would he ever need to learn how to do calligraphy good? It's not like he's writing letters. The revised edition is not out anywhere. Some people have like translated stuff. Like bits and pieces of it. You know, reading the revised scene, I kind of had like a little bit of a jaded opinion of like the revised edition because I love the original so much. So I was like, oh, I don't want her to like even touch it because it's like so perfect in my eyes. And also I just spent all this money buying all the original books, now buying them again in hardcover. And I'm like, oh, I don't like want the revised edition to like change anything. But reading this scene, I was like, oh, like I shouldn't have thought anything bad about MXTX. Like the revised scenes are, at least from what I've read, are really good. What if she fixes Beef Leaf? What is there to fix, Kate? Beef Leaf was perfect as is. How many copies of each book do you have now? We will have to do a count in our new house because we packed all my books away. But Emma gifted us a lot of editions from different countries and stuff, so that's really cool. Oh, Moto, I hope your procedure tomorrow goes well. Hua Chung invents the typewriter instead of learning calligraphy. Oh my god. Emma says, if I remember, you have 6 different TGCF editions. Oh my god, that's so cool. And then there's also the manhua, and then the Donghua manhua. If only we got English manhua. You know, Case File has some mini theaters that are like translated and in the back of the books, which I don't think we've seen yet for other series. Like, they didn't do that for Arha, but they are doing it for Case File, which is interesting. Spark Major says, I'm convinced they were left there as a pity prize. Like, you got through volume 4, here have... But the volume 4 fucking mini theater was like... I was like, I don't want to read this. It's so weird. I don't like imagining... It's like the Ming thing. It's exactly what we were talking about with the Ming thing. It's like, you imagine it as like a cute little animal, and then it's like, oh, what's so sexual now? Prince Jing's definitely going to town on the Manmer. 100%. You have the revised Taiwanese, Russian, English, German, and French. Oh my god, that's incredible! That is so cool, and that's all thanks to you, Emma. Originally, I had the Taiwanese ones because I thought the covers were cool. And then so much stuff just ended up coming out after that. Yeah, the manhwa, the next manhwa is coming out soon. Like, it should be shipping soon. The Taiwanese version of Lo Binghe's design is the most popular. Is that where he has straight, long black hair? Because I fucking love that design of him. I really love that design of him. I think he looks so good. I have a big poster of that one that I can't wait to put up in my new place. Oh, Lady Demonic. The next case file video will probably be up next month. It will take me a little bit to make the PowerPoint, and we still have to do the one. We filmed the PowerPoint for Peerless and Run Wild, so I have to edit those two. Oh, thank you, Lady Demonic. I'm glad you enjoyed the story time, Virgo. Meridia says, might be unpopular, but Yin Yu x 20 Gen are actually my fave TGCF side couples, so reading Binghe begins a lot of those feelings back. They're very similar. Yeah, I actually retweeted some Yin Yu and 20 Gen art this morning. Let me see if I can find it. It was rare. Chuanyin art win. This is them, right? Spark Major says, I know it's a ways away, but when you're deciding which series to read next, do you think you'll choose a book or leave it to a vote? Oh, I might get a couple different suggestions and then choose. I'm like, wouldn't it be fun to just do like the classics, like do like Moda Zushi next? I don't think you could read Meat Bun Live. But my creative synonyms, Kate. I have heard of Thriller Trainee. Actually, Stitch was reading that one a little bit the other day because I saw a YouTube video, someone talking about it. Challenging Kictor to read Uhhh live. I'd do it. Describe case file and creative synonyms. I could! Definitely can. Granted, a bit of the nuance might be lost. I just read Golden Terrace. And I would be nervous about reading Thousand Autumns because I feel like there's a lot of like historical political stuff in it. Oh, Crease Moore, that's awesome. Hey, Guardian would be great. That's awesome. Like buttholes and pillars are described with great clarity. Listen, you guys don't know my synonym game. No one has any faith in me. I could read the fish book. Scum villain reread right after. Thank you, Spark Major. Oh my goodness, you always have the faith. The fish book would be fun. That we could do a vote. I need to see you read Uhhh with your synonyms then. I could. All the Danmei. Chu Henning's peach. My peach! I want to make some kind of Uhhh art that is like a subtle Chu Henning reference to like my peach! If I read QJJ, I'm definitely not understanding it. Okay, guys, thank you so much for coming to join another read through. Tomorrow, we have our members only game night at 7 p.m. PST. So if you are a member or became a member of the stream, you're welcome to come to the games. And tomorrow will be a lot of fun. And I'm excited to hang out with everyone. And hopefully Stitch will be better. Hopefully she can come on the stream. But yeah, I really appreciate all you guys' support and hanging out with me. And yeah, we experienced the first Binghe kiss together. It was a beautiful moment. It was like Binghe bit all of our lips together. Baby girl Julianne, it was really good. You came right at the end. Okay, bye everyone. See you tomorrow. Bye.